And this is my, as said, those are new. This is my Telegram ID. Oh, sorry. This is my Telegram ID. You can join here. So previous class videos I'll upload it. Even I will try to upload content as well as this notes, because yesterday I have not uploaded. Maybe today I'll upload it. The course content as well as notes, along with these two videos. Yesterday and day before yesterday. That is day 1 and day 2. But I think you have not missed anything, because we have not started any Django. Okay? Yes. And I said all the notes will be uploaded in Google Classroom. Okay? All the notes will be uploaded in Google Classroom. And in the first class, I said about Python, general purpose language, and I said about API, that is application programming interface. Okay? So initially, I'll try to upload in Google. Initially, notes will be uploaded in Telegram. Initially, notes will be uploaded in Telegram. Initially, notes will be uploaded in the Telegram. Okay? Yes. Okay. I said, what is a library? What is API? And I said, what is a framework? And I said, what is web application? And I was talking about types of web applications. So you come across two types of web applications. One is static web applications, and one more is what? Dynamic web applications. So what is a static web application? I said an application whose content doesn't changes from one request to another request. So that you can call it as static web application. Okay, static web application or static website. And the static web application is a collection of what here? Static resources. And these applications you can develop it using what? HTML and CSS. HTML and what is that? CSS. And you can take the help of other tools like Bootstrap and other things also, right? But I say no, static web application is just like a book. Static web application is just like a book where you just open the book and read all the pages one by one. Static web application is just like a book where you open the book and read all the pages one by one. And so that content is a static. I said no, example is tutorials. A tutorials website can be called as which one? Static. So the content of that website will be the same. Those are nothing but web pages, or those are documents whose content doesn't changes from request to what? Request. So that applications you can call it as which one? Static web application. But when it comes to a dynamic web applications, dynamic, these are called as responsive. Okay, these are called as which one here? Responsive, which is called a dynamic web application. Dynamic, static, and one more is what here? Dynamic. But I said, what is a web application? Before that, I said even, what is the meaning of web application or website? A web application whose resources are accessed using what? Browser is called web application. An application installed inside a server and accessed using a browser is called which application? Web application. The resources which are accessed using internet, even it is called as which application? Web application. But what is application? Application is a software which is a collection of what? Programs. An application is a collection of programs, and each program is used to perform a specific operation. Each program is used to perform a specific operation or what? Task. It means web application. What is the advantage of web application? I said web applications or websites will provide 24/7 services, right? Okay, worldwide, it will provide 24/7 services, right? So what is a dynamic web application? A dynamic web application, yes, don't raise the hand. If any doubts is there, you can put in chat window, please. Anyone Having doubts, you put in chat window. Please don't raise the hands. Okay. If any doubt is there, you can put in chat window. If you raise the hand, how can I understand? I cannot understand, right? Okay. You should tell in chat window what is your doubt is. I'll try to answer it. Okay. And even yesterday I said, what is the difference? Even I said yesterday, what is the difference between web application and what website? A site is nothing but a place where your web application is hosted. A site is nothing but a place where your web application is hosted, and you try to access your web application by using what name? Site name, which is also called as sometimes you call it as which one? Domain name. It is a place where web application is hosted or is called website, or domain name. Okay, always web application is accessible using domain name or what is that? Website name. See, you develop a web application, and if you want your web application to be accessible worldwide, then what you do it? You have to publish, you have to host. You have to host your web application on what? Internet. For hosting your web application on internet, you need to purchase some space. You need to purchase some space. And that space is called as which one? Website. Okay. Yes. These are called as standalone applications or desktop applications. These are called standalone applications or desktop applications. See, sir, what will be a call an application which does not use browser to access but use internet like FB app and Gmail app and Android phones? All this you can call it as which applications? Mobile applications. And all these applications are what? Standalone. Okay, it means these applications are using the services of what? These applications are using services of what? These applications are using services of internet. But is it this Facebook app? Is it Facebook app is a browser? No. Is it what do you call it as Facebook app is a server? No. ICICI Bank app is a server? No. Is it ICICI Bank app is a server? No. So these are not web applications. These are not web applications, but these applications are accessing the services of which one? Web application. These applications are accessing the services of what? Web applications, right? Okay, it means what I mean to tell you is I can say these are standalone applications. These are standalone applications, but these are standalone applications, but using the services of what? Web applications. Using the services of what? Web applications. But these are standalone applications. These are what? Standalone applications. Getting on not? Okay. So dynamic web application. When I say no, domain name. Domain name. What is domain name? Domain name. What is domain name? Yeah, tell me here. You purchase some space. You purchase some space on internet. We'll see that in detail. You purchase some space on internet, right? .com is not domain name. .com is a domain type. .com is not domain name. .com is domain type. Okay. Yes. Domain name equal to website name. Yes. Domain name or website name. You'll say no. Some nareshit.com. Nareshit.com. Now this you can call it as which name? Domain name. This is called as domain name. The same thing you can call it as website name or not. Yes, this is website name or domain name. Is it a name? This is a place where you try to host. Means upload your what? Web application. Is a space. This is a space which is given some name. It means your application is accessed. Your application resources are accessed by using what? Some name. That name you can call it as website name or what? Domain name. Domain name. That you can call it as domain name. Is it equal to website name? Yes. Okay. Right. Okay, no problem. So that is called as a static web application. And there is one more web application which is called as what? Dynamic web application. An application dynamic. See here, this is responsive. Okay, this is responsive. Dynamic web application is what? Responsive. Okay, dynamic web application is a collection of static resources as well as what? Dynamic resources. It is a collection of static resources as well as what? Dynamic resources. An application whose content changes from one request to what? Another request. Okay. An application whose content, I can say, whose content changes from one request to what? Another request. From one request to another request is called a dynamic web application. Dynamic web application are the same thing, is called as responsive. It is also called as which one? Responsive. Whose content changes. Whose content changes from one request to what? Another request. Whose content changes from one request to what? Another request. What I meant to tell you is, it is as simple as like this. For example, very simple example is, if it is a static, I develop one, assume that I develop one web page or web document. Assume that there is one web page called page1.html. There is a page1.html. Okay, page1.html where it will display the message, hello NIT. This is one page. What this page is trying to display here, hello NIT. So this is my web application. This is my web application. And this web application is having one page. What is the name of this page? Page1.html. So whenever client access page1.html, always for client. Who's the client here? Browser. Now whenever you access this page1.html, always you will get the message as what? Hello, what is that? NIT. It means the content of this page is static or not? Yes. The content of this page is what? Static. It doesn't changes. The content of this page is static. It doesn't changes. It doesn't changes from one request to what? Another. It doesn't changes from one request to what? Another. Now this you can call it as which one? Static. Static or what do you call it as? Static or which is called as static web application or static website. But when it comes to the dynamic websites, it is a responsive. Okay, it is a responsive. For example, assume that if you take Gmail application, if you take which application? Gmail application itself. Gmail. What you do in Gmail? First thing is, you'll try to open the browser. Okay, now you'll try to open the browser. You'll try to open which one? Browser. You'll try to open the browser. After opening the browser, what you will try to type? www.gmail.com. So once you say www.gmail.com, what will happen? This request, this particular request is sent to one server. This request is sent to what here? One server. This is a server, and this server is having which application? Gmail application. This server is having which application? Gmail application. Now this is which application? Gmail application. Okay, and this Gmail application is having one web page. Assume that. What is that web page? Sign in dot, which one? HTML. Assume that it is having sign in dot HTML. Now once you say www.gmail.com, it will connect to which one? Server, and from server it will take which resource? Sign in dot HTML. And this sign in dot HTML is given to which one? Client. Assume that this sign in dot HTML is given to which one? Client. And then this is a sign in dot HTML. Is a sign in is the same for all the clients? Is it this page is the same for all the clients? Sign in page will be the same for all the people? Is the sign in page will be the same for all the people, or it changes? It is the same for all the people. Now, it means sign in dot HTML is a static or dynamic? Static. Sign in dot HTML is a static or dynamic? Static. Static. Now, where I enter username, it will ask you to enter what? Username. It will ask you to enter username. It will ask you to enter the username. It will ask you to enter what? Password. It will ask you to enter the username, and it will ask you to enter which one? Password. After giving this username and password, you just click on which one? Sign in. You just click on which one? Sign in. Now once I click on sign in, what will happen? This username and password is sent. This username and password is sent to a program which is there at which side? Server side. This username and password is sent to the program which is there at which side? Server side. It means this username and password is sent to one program exists in your Gmail application. It is sent to one program. It is sent to one program which is having what? Which is exist in which application? Gmail application. So that program will take this username and what? Password, and verifies is it this username and password is valid or invalid. If it is a valid, what this program is doing? It is generating one HTML page. What this program is doing? It is generating one HTML page, and that HTML page contain the information about which user? That HTML page contain the information about which user? The username. The username by using which this user is what? Sign in. The username, that particular user. It is having that HTML page contain. That HTML page contain the content of which information? This particular user information or not? Yes. It means that page content is a static or dynamic? Dynamic. Dynamic. Is it for every user one page is there? Is it for every user one page will be there? No. Okay, there will be one program which is generating the content. How? Dynamically. For generating that, we'll see here, Sujit Kumar, please. Okay, we'll see what is auto saving. We'll see all this here. Just try to understand this technology first. Sujit Kumar Sahu, right? Just try to understand here what will happen if you save it, where it is saved. We'll see all that. First, try to understand. No, yes. You asked the question related with this year. Yes. Okay, now. So there is one program which takes the input. There is one program. Yes. Just try to understand. There is one program which takes the input. There is one program which takes the input. There is one program which takes the input and process it and gives what? Result back. And that result is a static or dynamic? Dynamic. But for that, I required one program at which side? Server side. I required one program at which side? Server side. Server side. Now to develop dynamic web applications, you need to write. For developing dynamic web applications or responsive web applications, you need to write some code at which side? Server side. You need to write some code at which side? Server side. For writing code at server side, you require which technologies? Server side technologies. Getting on not? So there is a program which takes the input. there is a program at server side which takes the input, which takes the input and process it and gives a result. Always the result is given in the form of what? HTML. Always the result is given in the form of what? HTML. If X user is login, it gives the information about which one? X user. If Y user is login, it will give the information about which user? Y user. Okay, it means this is the program which is generating which one? Dynamic content or dynamic HTML pages or not. Yes, for that you required one program at which side? Server side. Getting on. So which takes the input from the client and process it and gives the result back. But that result is a static or dynamic? Dynamic. Now if you want to develop responsive web applications, if you want to develop a responsive web applications, you required, if you want to develop responsive web applications, you required some programs at which side? Server side. You required some programs at which side? Server side. You just open ICICI Bank website. After opening the ICICI Bank website, you enter username and password. You enter username and password and click on what? Sign in. Once you click on sign in, what will happen? This username and password is sent to which application? ICICI web application. ICICI application. It is sent to which application? ICICI application. Means in ICICI application, there is one program which takes that username and password, which takes that username and password and verifies, is it that username password is valid or not? If that username and password is valid, what that program is doing? It is generating some output. But is it that output is a static or dynamic? Dynamic. If NIT is logged in, yes. If NIT is logged in, get the information about which one? NIT. Get the information about which one? NIT. Right? Just to try to understand, dynamic web applications, or it is also called as responsive web application. An application whose content changes from one request to what? Another request is called dynamic web application, or it is called as responsive web application. For this we required programs at which side? At which side? Server side. For this we required programs at which side? Server side. Okay, for this we required some programs at which side? Server side. Server side. Okay, so just try to understand what is the meaning of static and what? Dynamic. Just try to understand what is the meaning of static and dynamic. Static web applications, and one more is what? Dynamic web applications. Getting on not? Okay, static web application is a collection of which resources? Static resources like HTML and what? Which can be developed using HTML and what? CSS. But for developing dynamic web applications, you require some programs at which side? Server side. Which generate the dynamic content or not? Yes, the content which changes from one request to another. Responsive web applications. So for this, you required some programs at which side? Server side. That is where you will say. So web application technologies are divided into two parts. One is a front end and one more is what? Back end. Okay. Web application, web technologies, I can say web technologies are divided. I can say web technologies are divided into how many parts? Two parts. Into two parts. Okay, one is front end. One is front end technologies. Second one is what? Back end technologies. Front end technologies, and one more is what? Back end technologies. Front end. In web application, front end is nothing but what? UI, which is called as UI technologies. Okay, front end is nothing but what? UI. What you see, that you call it as which one? UI. User interface. Front end technologies are also called which technologies? UI technologies. User interface. are also called UI technologies. What are these? How you interact with the web applications by using user interface. How you develop user interfaces in the web? How you develop a user interface in web? HTML, hypertext markup language. Hypertext, hypertext markup, hypertext markup language. HTML. Second one is CSS, cascading, cascading style sheet, cascading style sheet, front end technologies, HTML, CSS, HTML, CSS. What is the next one? JavaScript, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Next is, can I use this Bootstrap? Bootstrap. Then what is the next one? jQuery, jQuery. And what is the sixth one? Angular, Angular. Okay, Angular JS. I can say Angular or Angular JS. Seventh one is React, React JS. Even you can also use Node. Actually, Node is used at server side, but even though I'm writing Node.js. So these are which technologies? Front-end technologies. User interface technologies are front-end technologies. This is user interface. You are developing user interface. You are developing UI. UI. You are developing a UI. Okay. User interface. User interface, you are developing it. For example, so www.gmail.com. Oh, sorry. www.gmail.com, right? If you see this one, just see the code of this. View page source. View page source. If you see the source code of this complete is written in which one? This complete thing is written in which one? It is written in which one? HTML. This is HTML. Yes, HTML. It is having HTML and JavaScript. It is having HTML, JavaScript. Can you see some functions or not? Yeah. Can you see some functions or not? Can you see some functions? Huh? Can you see some functions? Okay. www dot. Which one will take? Some ICICI. Okay. Now, if you take this one, anything you take, view. This is image. View page source. Can you see what is the document type? What is the document type? HTML. What is the document type? HTML. Can you see the script? Script is there in this or not? Yes, there is a script is there. Some script is written or not? Yes, there is a script. There is a script and functions are written or not? Yes, there is a functions are written. And can you see the HTML tags and everything or not? Yes. It means this complete thing is written in which language? HTML along with what? Java script or some scripting language. Can you say this is a user interface or not? This is a user interface or not? Yes. And this user interface is developed by using which technologies? UI technologies. That is HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap, jQuery, Angular, React, or what is that? No. So why you are saying this is also called as a front end? Why you are saying it is a front end? Because these programs are loaded and executed within the browser. These programs are loaded and executed within the browser. Where HTML page is rendered and executed within the browser. JavaScript or CSS is executed where in the browser. JavaScript is executed where within the browser. Getting on? That's the reason you are saying which one here? Front end. What is a front end? Front end. It means it is a user interface by using which you are communicating with what? Application. And these are called front end technologies, or these are called, even these are called client side. These are called which one here? Client side technologies, client side technologies. These are also called as which technologies? Client side. Means these programs are downloaded and executed within the browser. These programs are downloaded and executed within the browser. What I meant to tell you is, assume that this is my web application. Okay, assume that this is my web application. So home page will be a, yes. We'll talk about all those things here, please. Assume that this is my web application. This is my web application, and my web application is having some x.html, and it is having y.html, it is having z.html. And this application is there inside what? This application is there inside what? Server. Is it this programs are executed? Is it this HTML documents are executed within the server? Is it this HTML documents are executed within the server? Is it HTML is a client side or server side? Is it HTML is executed at client side or server side? Client side. This HTML document is downloaded. This HTML document is what? Downloaded, and it is executed within the browser. This is downloaded and executed within the browser. How you are accessing the content of the web application using which one? Browser. So the content of this HTML is downloaded and executed within what? Browser. Can you say, is it HTML? Is it HTML is a client side or server side? Client side. Is it HTML is a client side or server side? Client side. Is it JavaScript is a client side or server side? Client side. JavaScript code is downloaded along with the HTML within the browser, and whenever you do certain action, it will execute what? JavaScript code, where the JavaScript code is executed within the browser. Where is a jQuery functions get executed within the browser? Where Angular related code can be executed within the browser. Is it all these are client side or not? Yes. All these are client side, which are executed within the browser. It is downloaded from the server and executed within the browser. That you call it as which one? Client side technologies. Now that you can call it as front end. That is a front end. And what is a back end here? Server side. The programs which are executed where? At server side. So why you require a program at server side? Why you require a program at server side? To take the input given by whom? Client. And to process it and give the result back. To process it and give the result back. For example, you want to deposit the amount in your account. You want to deposit the amount in your account. Then what do? You go to the bank. In the bank, there will be one person. Okay, you fill the form. You fill the form, and after that, you fill the form and you give that form to whom? The cashier. And cashier, what he will do it? He'll try to deposit that amount in your account or not. Yes, that is in bank. But I want to do the same thing using which application? Web application. Then what do you do it? You required one user interface where you enter your account number, you enter amount, and everything you enter or not. Yes. After giving all these details, you submit this. You submit to whom? Cashier. You submit to whom? Cashier. Where is the cashier? He's there in the bank, right? Where is the cashier? Cashier is one program. What is a cashier here? Is one program. That program will take the input given by whom? Client. The input given by whom? Client, and process it and give the result back to whom? Client. It means Whatever program you write at server side, is it providing services of your business or not? Yes. Okay, it means cashier is one service, deposit is one service, withdraw is one service, okay, reservation is one service, cancellation is one service, purchase is one service, cancel is one service. All these are what? Services, and each service is one program, and this program is executed at which side? Server side. So the programs which are there at server side takes the input given by whom? Client, because your application is a interactive application or not? Yes, where client will send some request, and that request is processed by the server and give the result back to whom? Client. If you take online reservation itself, what will happen in online reservation? You suppose you want to reserve the ticket. Generally, what you do it? If you want to reserve the ticket, okay, if online reservation is not there, if you want to reserve the ticket, what do you do it? You go to railway station or bus station, where you reserve you stand in reservation counter and you fill all your details, and then you give it to the what is that uh, the person who's there in the counter. What that person will do, will reserve the ticket and give the ticket printing or not? Yes. Suppose if it is online reservation, what do you do it? You enter all your details. Where you enter all this, all your details in one user interface. What is that user interface? Is it one web page or not? Yes. You enter all your details and click on submit. After entering all your details, you just click on which one? Submit. Once you click on submit, what will happen? All these details are sent to server. At server side, there should be one person or not? A server side, there should be one person or one program. There should be one program, and that program should take these details. That program should take these details, and then it should update the reservation chart and everything or not? Yes. And so for that, I required one program at which side? Server side. Now, is it these applications are dynamic or not? Yes. Getting on. So the resources are two types. One is the static resources, and one more is what? Dynamic resources. Why you required a program set? Why you required a program set which side? Server side. You required a program set server side to take the input given by whom? Client, and process it and generate what? Dynamic content. Dynamic content. To develop responsive web applications, you need to write some code at which side? Server side. To write programs at server side, writing a program at server side is nothing but extending the functionality of a server. Getting on it. Writing programs at server side is nothing but extending the functionality of which one? Server. Server. General meaning of server is, you go to hotel, right? In hotel you find server. You go to hotel, and in hotel, will you find a server or not? Yes. The job of server in hotel is what? Providing service. What server will do? Suppose once you go to hotel, he'll come to you and ask. He'll come to you, ask what he'll ask? What you want? Okay, which item you want? If you say, I want idli, then what he'll do? He'll just go to kitchen and he'll just place the order. Once he places the order, the person will cook and give to whom? Server. And server will give to whom? Client. Server will give to whom? Client. Getting on it. It means server is providing different services. Server is providing which one? Different services. Services. Server is providing different services. But what services? That you have to write in the form of programs. What services? That you have to write in the form of programs. For that, you require some technologies at which side? Server side. Server side technologies. What are these server side technologies here? Server side technologies. So there are two programs in network. One is the client. In internet, how many programs will be there? Two programs. One is the client and one more is what? Server. Client is a browser. Server is a web server. Client is a browser and server is what? Web server. Okay. So there is a server side technologies. Now, what are these server-side technologies? When it comes to the Java, right? When it comes to the Java, you find in Java you find which one servlets. In Java you find which one servlets, and you find which one JSP servlets JSP servlets and what JSP. If it is a .NET, if it is a .NET, you find which one ASP.NET. Hibernate is not a server side here, array. Spring that will work on the top of servlets and JSPR. Okay. Spring. Okay. Spring Boot. All these are work on the top of servlets and JSP. Right. So .NET is having which one? ASP.NET. And then one more is what? PHP. PHP is also server side. Okay. ASP.NET is also server side. And Java is having servlets and JSP. Now Python is having what now? Django. Python is having which one? Django. And one more is what? Flask. Actually, Python frameworks are divided into two parts. One is a micro frameworks. One is a micro frameworks, and one more is a mini frameworks and frameworks. It is divided into two parts. Means one is fully loaded and one more is partially loaded. One is fully loaded and one more is what? Partially loaded. That we will talk about that. But Python is providing how many server-side technologies? Two. Assume that two. One is a Django and one more is what? Flash. It means Django, is it executed at client side or server side? Server side. And Django is used for developing which applications? Dynamic or static? Dynamic or responsive web applications. Responsive web applications are enterprise applications. You can develop it by using which one? Django. There are so many advantages of using Django. Okay, so that's the reason it is becoming so popular compared to what other server side technology. So Django is completely written in what? Python. But just try to understand, Django is completely written in what? Python. We'll see in detail on what is Django and what is the advantage of using Django. Okay, why it is so popular and everything, but not right now. But I think you understood difference between front end and what? Back end. It means if you want to develop a web application, you need to have the knowledge of what? Front end as well as what? Back end. If you are working with a Java, then you must have all this front end. Front end is a common for all technologies, but back end might be changes from one language to another. Back end might be changes from, Node.js is used for both client side as well as server side. Node.js is used both at client side as well as what? Server side. Kundan, it is used at both side, client side as well as server side. Okay, now. So why you require server side technologies to develop which applications here? Dynamic web applications. Okay, but before moving into the back end, first we'll talk about which one? Front end. Before moving to the back end technologies, first we'll talk about which one? Front end. In front end, we'll be talking about which one? HTML. First we'll start with what? HTML. Okay, I said no, first 3 weeks I'll try to complete this HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap, and what is that? jQuery. Later we'll see integration with Angular JS with Django and React JS with Django. That integration I'll tell you. Don't worry about that. But initially you must know these things to develop one website or web application. Okay, now. So first we'll talk about these things, and after that we'll go for server side technology like what? Django. Right? Is it clear this one? Huh? Up to this, is it clear? Front end and back end? Anyone want to ask anything? Front end and back end? Back end is server side. Back end is server side. Front end is client side. Yeah. Which technology is easy? Yeah. No, generally, actually, when you're talking about, yes, nothing is easy. Everything you have to learn, right? Now, where is a database now? Sometimes some people says that database is a backend, right? Now, when you're talking about internet, internet applications, internet applications or web applications, whenever you talk about internet applications or what, web applications, so there will be a client and there will be a web server and there will be which one, database server. Okay, so there will be a web server and there is what, database server. For web server, which one is a backend, database? If you take web server is a client, then for web server, which one is a backend, database? Okay, but in user's point of view, which one is a backend, web server? If web server is a front end, then for web server, which one is a backend, database? Now this is three layers actually, three parts it is divided. One is UI part and one more is a service part and one more is a persistent. Now this persistent is nothing but what, database. See, whenever you talk about web application, you are talking about only two things. One is a client and one more is what, server. Because client will not communicate directly with what, database. Client will not communicate directly with what, database. Client communicate with what, web server. It is the responsibility of server to communicate with what, database. Now, when you're talking about server side, always think about server side means web server, but not as a database server. Okay, na? So database server, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, third layer you can see, persistent layer. This is a service layer. This is a service layer. This is which one? Persistent layer, where you communicate, you write the logic to communicate with which one? Database, right? We'll talk about web application architecture. Don't worry about that. Okay, na? Which category, miss? I didn't get. Now, generally, when you're talking about application architecture, that can be one tier, two tier, and three tier. This comes under which one? Three tier architecture. Yes or no? Okay. Yes. We will see database different communication methods. AngularJS is required to learn Django? No, no, not required. Not required. Okay. Yes. Yes. When already server-side technologies are present in Java, .NET, and PHP, why we should go for Django? Okay. Why we should go for Django? Because every technology is having its own advantages. Yes or no? Okay. Suppose when you're talking about Django, you can implement all the features of which one? Python. Okay. Python makes it code more easier or not? Yes. Python is easy. And Python is widely used in so many applications or not? Yes. Python is having very big community. Python is having very big community. Getting on it. You get so many things in what? Python, which is not provided by any other technology. It is like, you are just asking, it is like when there is already Reynolds is manufacturing pen, why Cello should manufacture a pen? Okay. So it means each one is having his own features. I mean, Bata is having chappal. Bata is having a chappal, right? Is having his own features. So why Paragon should have again chappals? That is a business, right? Okay. Why, when there is a C language, why Java again? When there is a Java again, why .NET? When there is a .NET again, why Python? Because each technology is having its own advantages as well as what? Disadvantages. Okay. You should not think in that way, right? Okay. Is Django only for Python? Yes, Django is only for Python. See, you find so many database products. There is Oracle is there. When there is a Oracle, why MySQL? When there is a Oracle, why MySQL? When MySQL, why SQL Server? Because each database is having its own features, right? Okay, each database is having its own features. I mean, advantages as well as what? Disadvantages. If you want to use the power of Python, if you want to use the power of Python and to develop web application, then they come up with what? Django, right? Yes, because Python is a general purpose language. Python is a general purpose language. Python is a general purpose language and it is used for developing any type of application. That's the reason it is also providing one framework called which one? Django. Use this and develop which applications? Web applications. Use Kiwi and develop which applications? Mobile applications. Like that. Okay? Right. Right. Database knowledge is required for learning any technology here. Database knowledge is required for learning any technology. You must have the knowledge of database. If you don't have knowledge of database, you cannot learn any project you want to develop. You must have the knowledge of database. If you don't have knowledge of database, you cannot develop any project. Yes, database is must. You must have a database knowledge. Okay, any one database, either Oracle or MySQL or SQL Server, any one database knowledge you have, then happily you can work with any project. Happily you can work with any project. Yes? Okay. Next, let us move into, what is the next one? HTML. Up to this, is it clear or not? You understood what is a web application or not? First, you have to know what is web application because you are developing which applications? Web applications. There is a standalone application, web application, mobile application. The mobile applications, what you find, all those are standalone applications. Standalone applications are the applications which are installed in your system and executed from your system. Installed in your system and executed from your system. But when it comes to web application, it is installed inside what? Server and accessed by what? Clients. But how the clients are accessing? By using browser. Is it that application is a distributed application or not? Yes. That application is providing services to how many people? Number of people worldwide. That is the advantage of using what? Web applications. That is the advantage of using web applications. Okay, just try to understand. But with the Django, you're also using which one? REST API. REST API. You're also using which one? REST API. REST API. Now this is related with which one? Web services. This is related with which one? Web services. And this is used for developing which applications? Enterprise applications. This is used for developing which applications? Enterprise applications. It means one web application uses services of what? Another web application. One web application uses services of what? Another web application. What I meant to tell you is, for example, if you take Google Pay. Using Google Pay, can you withdraw, right? Google Pay, what it is doing? You are doing payments. Using Google Pay, you are paying it. But you are paying from different banks, right? Google Pay is one application and that application is paying from different banks. It means Google Pay is using some services of which one? Bank. But is it banking? Is it bank? Bank is one application or not? Banking is one application or not? Yes. Is it Google Pay? Is it using all the services of bank? Is it Google Pay is using all the services of bank? No. It is using only one service. What is that service? Payment service. It is using only one service. What is that service? Payment service. Service. Web service. See here. Web service. It means you are writing some An application will provide some services which are used by what? Other web applications. Which are used by what? Other web applications. Now that you can develop it by using which one? REST API, which is used for developing which one? Web services. One application uses services of what? Another web application. One web application uses services of another web application. In that case, one web application cannot communicate. One web application will not use all the services of what? Another web application. In that case, is it that application is secured or not secured? Not secured. It should provide only the services which are required. You go to ATM, you swap the card. You go to the ATM and swap the card. Okay, you go to ICICI ATM. ICICI ATM is one application, right? You go to ICICI ATM application, you insert SDFC card. You insert which card? SDFC card. Then is it ICICI bank application? Is it using the services of which one? SDFC. It means, is it using all the services of SDFC? No, it is not using all the services of what? SDFC. It is using only which services? Withdraw services. It means web services are the public services which are published on net, which are used by what? Different web applications. That you can develop it by using which one? REST API, which is related with what? Web services. And that application you can call it as which one? Enterprise application. Enterprise applications. And a web application which communicate with what? Another web application. Okay. So we are using. Okay. It means if you take even ICICI Bank app, even ICICI Bank app also uses certain features of what? Other web application. Suppose if you take an ICICI Bank app where you have a transfer funds, there will be an option of transfer funds. Transfer funds from one account to what? Another account. It means it is using some services of another bank or not? Yes. Now such kind of things you can develop it by using REST API. So you are not only learning Django, you are also learning which one? RESTful API, RESTful services or RESTful web services. Okay, so that you'll be knowing everything, complete development of which one? Web application or internet application. That is what I said here. अभी तक क्या बोला यार? My what I said. Okay. Yes. I'll 4 p.m. by then. Since today I'm not able to see anything. 4 o'clock batch is over. 4 o'clock batch is over. No. 4 p.m. batch is over 2 days back. Saturday was the last class. Okay, no problem. Okay, right. Let us see. Okay. No problem. No problem. Yes. Okay. Right. Anyway, let us move into first module. Is it all this are clear, right? Is it all these things are clear or not? Is it clear? Okay, next. Sir, multi-threading is used in REST API. What question here? When logic is required, you use it, right? If logic is not required, why you use it, right? Okay. Let us move into first topic. What is the first topic in full stack web development is? Full stack web development is what? HTML. Okay, HTML. So first you are learning which one? User interface. For web application, which one is very important? User interface. User interface. and always you develop this user interface. How you display the content on a web? How you display the content in the web using HTML? How you display the content in the web using HTML? Yes or no? How you display the result using what? HTML. How you display the content in the web using HTML? HTML. What is HTML stands for? HTML stands for hypertext. Hypertext markup language. Hypertext markup language. What is HTML stands for? Hypertext markup language. Hypertext markup language. Naresh IT. Naresh IT.in. Okay. Courses. Classroom training. Can you see this is one document or not? Can you say this is one document? Is it this is one document or not? Yes, this is one document. This is one document. This is one document. Which document? HTML document. This is one document. And this is which document? HTML document. Now just see view source page. Can you see document? First one is what? Document type. What is document type here? HTML. Document type is a HTML. Now can you see this is completely written in which one? This is completely written in which one? HTML. HTML. Okay. Always you present the data. Always you present the data by using which language? HTML. HTML stands for hypertext markup language. Is it a programming language? HTML is a programming language. Huh? Is it HTML is a programming language? No, HTML is not a programming language. HTML is which language? Huh? Huh? No, I didn't get. Scripting. Oh, no, yeah. HTML is not a scripting language. It is a markup language. उसमें ही है ना यार. ज़्यादा नहीं सोचना यार. Okay, HTML is a markup language. HTML is a markup language. It is a markup language which cannot be used to write the programs. Using this language, you don't write a program. You prepare document. HTML is used for preparing what? Document. Document. HTML document. It is called as what? Document. But you don't call it as program. Okay, you'll say HTML file, but you don't say HTML program. You'll say C program. You'll say C++ program. You'll say Java program. You'll say Python program. But you don't say HTML program, but you'll say HTML file or HTML document. So using HTML, you don't write a program. Because of that, it is not a programming language. Okay, it is not a scripting language also. It is a markup language which is used for developing what? HTML documents. HTML documents. So I've written some definitions of it. HTML. Some notes I prepared. And this I'll try to put in Google Classroom. In Telegram, right? Some definitions. What is HTML stands for? Hypertext markup language. And HTML is a standard markup language for creating what? Web pages. For creating what here? Web pages. Array, we'll see here, please. Array, Mahesh, we'll see here. Okay, what is inspect view and view source? We'll see. Browser related, we'll see here, please. Let's learn first the things. Yes. HTML stands for hypertext markup language, and HTML is a standard markup language for creating what? web page. Web page. Page, right? What is a page? Generally, page means page only, right? Okay. You are looking for answers, right? Okay. So where the content will be placed. The page is nothing but a canvas, right? Where the content will be placed. And web page means it is a content which is served on which one? Web. Web is nothing but what? Internet. It means this content you are sharing on which one? Internet. This page content you are sharing on which one? Internet. For example, you prepare one document in MS Word. In MS Word, you just open the Word and you create a document. Is it document is one page or not? Yes. Where you write a lot of content. It contains the plain text, images, audio, video, everything can I put in MS Word or not? Yes. Here also same thing. A page. Okay, a page or it is also called as which one? Document. And this document is served using which one? Web. Web is nothing but what here? Internet. HTML is describes the structure of HTML describes the structure of which one? Web page. HTML describes the structure of what? Web page. Means how to organize data, how to organize the content, how to organize the content that is defined by which one? HTML. Can I say HTML is one standard or not? Can you say HTML is one standard or not? Yes. HTML is one standard which is followed by HTML is one standard which is followed by all web designers. HTML is a standard which is followed by all web designers who develop what? Web page. And HTML is a standard which is followed by browsers and who provide what? Parsers. Who execute this HTML document? Who execute HTML document? Browser. And browser will have a parser. Browser will have what? HTML parser. HTML parser, will it follow the same rules given in HTML or not? Yes. It means HTML is one standard followed by how many people? Two people. One is web designer and one more is what? HTML parser developers. Getting or not? Okay. So HTML describe the structure of what? Web page. HTML describe the structure of web page, and HTML consists of series of elements. Series of elements. Web page, web document, web page, web document, web file. All these are one and the same. All these are one and the same. Okay. HTML consists of series of elements. HTML elements tell the browser how to display what? Content. HTML elements tell the browser. HTML is a collection of elements as well as tags. We'll see the difference between tag and what? Elements. What is the difference between tag and elements? I'll tell you. Don't worry about that. Okay, HTML elements tell, okay, the browser how to display the content. How to display the content. That is, who tells that? HTML elements. HTML is only the markup language for creating what? Web pages. There is no other language. There is no other language for creating what? Web page. There is only one language is available. What is that? HTML. If you want to become a web developer, if you want to become a web designer, you must have a knowledge of which one? HTML, because you don't have any other language. You don't have any other language for designing what? Web pages. Okay, there is only one language. What is that? HTML, which is called as hypertext markup language. Is the only markup language for creating web pages. It will provide the titles, headings, paragraphs, list, tables, embedded images, audio, video, everything, multimedia, everything you can put inside what? HTML document. But how you can put it? By using some elements and tags provided by which one? HTML. HTML is a language for publishing text-based and multimedia information on what? World Wide Web. That is nothing but what? Internet. HTML is a straightforward computer coding language. It was developed in the HTML. Yes, this year in late 90s. Okay, HTML is a basis of web page, and the web pages is a basis of a website, and HTML uses what? It uses tags for creating which one? web documents. And HTML is a hypertext markup language. It is a predetermined set of markup tags used to design what is that web page. Web browsers like Chrome, Internet Explorer, Firefox, Safari, and other web browsers are softwares to read HTML and display web page designed as what? Output. It means HTML is only a language which is used for developing which one? Web page. It means always in internet you display the output, the input as well as what? Output. You display the user interface. You display the you develop a user interface always using which one? HTML. You display the result in the form of HTML. For example, you want to see your result. Assume that exam result. What do? You just open the website. Okay, JN2 exam result. I just click on www.jn2exam result. Then it will ask you to enter hall ticket number. Okay, that is one page or not? That is one page or not? Yes. That page is developed in what? HTML. Okay, now you enter hall ticket number and click on what? Submit. When you click on submit, this hall ticket number is sent to what? University. Huh? Is this hall ticket number is sent to university? Huh? No, it is sent to which one? Server. At server side, there is one program or not? Yes. That program will get all your marks details from where? Database. All your marks details from where? Database. And after getting all the details from database, is it showing all these details in the form of? Is it showing all these details in the form of web page? Is it giving the output in the form of page or not? Yes. It means always you communicate with the web application using what? HTML input as well as what? Output. So HTML is very important. HTML is very important for displaying output, input as well as what? Output. So that's the reason UI, whenever you start learning web technologies, you start with what? Whenever you start learning web technologies, you start with what? HTML. Without knowing HTML, you cannot learn anything. Without knowing HTML, you cannot learn Django. Okay, because Django is a server side and it will generate some dynamic output. And how it will generate the output? Using HTML. If you don't know HTML, can you work with Django? No. So the first and foremost thing you should know is what? HTML. And this HTML, if you see versions of HTML, these are different versions of what? HTML. These are different versions of what? HTML. What is the current version of HTML is? HTML5. And this is a major version. And this is what? Minor version, which is called as HTML 5.2. Now, who invented HTML? Tim Berners-Lee. Who invented which one? WWW, which stands for World Wide Web. Is it one standard or not? Yes. It is one standard which defines some set of rules and regulations. HTML was created by Sir Tim Berners-Lee in the late 1991, but was not released officially, but published in the year which one? 1995 as an HTML 2.0. HTML 4.0 was published in the late 1999 and was major version of which one? HTML. And after that, after so many years, in 2014, they released one more major version, which is called as what? HTML5. Now, what is the current version of HTML? HTML5. Okay. So, why you require HTML? Tell me. Why you require HTML? Why you require HTML for developing web pages? Why you develop a web page? Why you develop a web page? Why you develop a web page? To provide user interface. To provide user interface. To provide user interface or to interact with what? Web application. You require one interface, and that interface you are developing it by using what? HTML. Is it clear, this one? Okay. Then tomorrow I'll tell you what is the elements and what is the tags and the structure of HTML document. Structure of HTML document, right? So once we complete HTML, JavaScript, Bootstrap, CSS, and all these things, then we'll go for Django. Because without knowing this, if I start Django, it will bounce back, right? So first, if you learn front end, then back end will become very easy for you, right? So thank you. We'll see tomorrow. I'll try to upload this. I'll try to upload this in Telegram. Okay, right. Thank you. We'll see tomorrow. Saturday, don't know, but I'll try to. If possible, I'll try to take. If possible, I'll try to take. Yeah. SQL minimum knowledge మనం నేర్చుకున్నాం క్లాస్లో అది సరిపోతుంది. మన క్లాస్లో నేర్చుకున్నాం కదా, అది సరిపోతుంది. మనం పైథన్ విత్ ఒరాకిల్, పైథన్ విత్ MySQL నేర్చుకున్నాం కదా, దాంట్లో SQL కమాండ్ చెప్పాను కదా, అది సరిపోతుంది. ఓకే. డైనమిక్. గూగుల్ ఈజ్ డైనమిక్. Google is a dynamic here. It shows the content based on the result. Search words are not. Google will display the output based on the search words or not. Is it static or dynamic? Dynamic, right? Okay.